right, Bulldogs, today we are going to start our second project in Adobe Illustrator. It is called the Sugarskull. To start with, you will need to start and create a new artboard. You can call it the Sugarskull. Put your last name at the end. We're going to have one artboard, 8.5 by 11. Down here under the Advanced tab, we're going to go CMYK and 150 points per inch. Pixels per inch, points per inch. I'm going to click OK. And we have an artboard. We're going to go ahead and import our object, our image, which is a small Sugarskull head. Once you place it, you will notice that it is pretty small compared to the artboard. We're going to go ahead and enlarge it by going up here to the width and height dimensions. Go ahead and make sure this link is checked. If it's not, you'll see a little broken link like so. Click on it, make sure it's linked. That way when we change the width, the height will stay proportionate. So I'm going to type in the number 7 for 7 inches. And then I'm just going to hit enter. And you'll notice that my Sugarskull gets pretty large. Now it's time to start using some of the tools. To start with, you're going to want to make sure you have the Layers panel. If you do not have the Layers panel, click on Window. Move down to whatever you need. In this case, it would be Layers. Click on it and it will appear. I'm going to double click Layers, and over here I am going to make sure I have a copy of the background to start with. In case I mess up, I always have that to fall back on. I'm just going to go ahead and turn the visibility off on the first layer. So the way you get started on this is you zoom in using Control+, scroll up to the top, and choose your pen tool. I'm actually going to use a tool called the Curvature tool. You want to turn your fill color off, and you want to make sure your stroke is on black. The stroke width needs to be 4. Okay, then simply come up here, and you're going to begin tracing. Notice that the curve tool kind of curves for me. You want to go all the way around your skull with the pen tool. Okay, that's step 1. This does not take long. You'll notice that this is a pretty handy little tool. Now I'm going to turn off your pen tool. The easiest way to do it is just to push the letter P on the keyboard, and that turns off your tool. Now, I stopped early, so you didn't have to sit there and watch me outline the entire skull, but you get the idea. The second thing you're going to do after you outline the entire skull is you're going to pick a spot to start on. I'm going to start on the cross, and you're going to begin going around every little object you see. The more intricate and detailed you can be, the better. Remember, the object here is to practice using the pen tools and the other drawing tools in Illustrator. I'm going to start with the regular pen tool. Notice that I'm still on 4 and I still have black selected. And I'm going to come right over here and you do the cross. Now when you're doing the cross, sometimes it's difficult to get an exact straight line. Okay? If you're not really great at freehanding. So instead, I'm going to click on the button. And when you come down here, if you don't know exactly 90 degrees, hold down Shift and it does it for you. How cool is that? Then just move over. Again, you're not sure it's directly 90 degrees to the left. Hold down Shift and click. Okay? And you can just continue doing that. Shift and click. Shift and click. Shift and click. All the way around the heart. To save a little time, I'm going to go ahead and remember, if you mess up like I just did, simply hit Control-Z. It will undo. And once we get up to the top, what's important about this project is that every time you move around any sort of shape, you connect the path. Notice that it's connected. Okay? And notice that the pen tool automatically turned off that time. Now, if you wanted to test it just to make sure, you can go ahead and click on it and change the fill color. Right now we have no fill. Let's just pick a color. notice that it filled in. If it did not fill in or you had some issues with that, you know that you would have a problem and that you would need to retrace that. So that is how you do that one. Now you may notice that right in here, this is not curved. Well, a heart's supposed to be curved in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down the pen tool and I'm going to click on the add an anchor point. I'm going to choose an anchor point right here and I'm going to add one right here. Then I'm going to go up and I'm going to hold down my mouse again on top of the pen tool and I'm going to choose the anchor point adjustment tool. Now here all I'm going to do, takes a little bit of practice. I'm going to click on that anchor point and you get these grab bars. See the little grab bars? And all I'm going to do is I'm going to move down here and just make those a little bit arced. Like so. Let's try that again. About like that, just slightly curved. And then this one, same thing, let's try that one more time, just slightly curved. Okay, so that is how we use the pen tool and the add an anchor point tool. Let's try the pen tool one more time on something a little more challenging. Let's try it right here. The pen tool works a little bit different in that you simply click everywhere you want to add an anchor point. Some people like this tool better. Some people find it to be a little more difficult. You're going to have to use it on some of the areas. Now if I zoom in and grab my adjust anchor point tool that I was showing you a second ago, I can come in here to these points that are now jagged, put my little anchor point adjustment tool on here. This is a better example of what I was trying to show you, and let go. And look what it does. It makes a perfect little loop-de-loop. Right there. Okay? So this tool works and is going to be needed especially around the teeth. Okay, just take some practice to use, as I just illustrated. This is going to be tutorial number 1. After we're done with this tutorial, we're going to talk a little bit about how to get around some tight areas like the teeth. But this should get you started.